Stations Network and the operators of this radio
It's
station.
Love Jones. It's Love Jones. Check us out as we combine our hit music with a love story. Live with Candy. It's Love Jones. Call in and participate at 326-0271 on Global Radio 99.5 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Refugee Camp presents
For all relationships, for regrets, for disagreements, for breaking up and making up, for all those out there jonesing for love, it's Love Jones right here, right now on Global 99.5. Good morning. A gorgeous Thursday indeed it is. So welcome to another edition of Love Jones right here on the best mix of R&B music, home of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. We're Global 99.5. Candy's in with you. Magic Mike.
What's up?
I'm right here. Erin said she missed you yesterday.
I know, I do apologize, man.
But I'm excited because she's going to come on next week. And
next week when?
It'll be the four of us, Wednesday.
I will be here.
So it's going to be, we plan on doing, not battle of the sexes, but things that men and women typically differ on and see if we can kind of talk it out. I think it's going to be interesting. Some piffs and peeves that men may have, or things that they have difficulty in understanding as the woman's point of view. And I think 2 on 2 is going to be an interesting rumble. I'm interested to see how you and Erin, I think you and Erin probably, but she and Dee, I think that's going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, and you know what? Knowing Erin, well, when I say knowing Erin, listen to her.
She's fiery.
Listen to her speak, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
so
and Dee's Dee.
Yeah, we got Dee. Don't worry about Dee.
Dee is Dee. But you know, I think it's just going to be quite the interesting twist. We got a lot of hits yesterday. Unfortunately, we couldn't do Facebook Live, so I'm interested. I can't wait for next week. But we got a lot of hits yesterday via the network itself. And so I'm hoping to post the audio because it was a really, really good show. 326-0272 or 1 for live in studio. 431-8497 is your text and WhatsApp. A special good morning to our Facebook viewers. Welcome back, and we do apologize for the interruption over the last few days. Today is Thursday, and that means it's a little bit of a pet peeve day. People seem to love pet peeve day. I got WhatsApp. Is pet peeve day tomorrow? Because I got a couple, right?
Oh, okay.
So we'll get to a few of those, but...
So we can start what we started talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because interestingly enough, at least 3 of the pet peeves were connected to not this particular situation, but one of the things that someone said to me yesterday, and it opened quite the door for a conversation. And then my son said to me, he's 18, and he said, "Mom, can I ask you something?" This morning when I was getting ready for work, he said, I'm finding it kind of off-putting. He said, a lot of the shows that I'm watching, because, you know, you watch the things that 18-year-olds watch. It's, you know, all of these different things. And he said a lot of his friends that are female, they watch like PLL, Pretty Little Liars, and all these other things. And he said a topic matter that seems to come up time and time again is abortion. You know, and he says they speak of it. It's like, pass me the Pringles. You know what I mean? He said he remember, well, he didn't have that much back in the day. He only 18. I mean, how much back in the day did he have? But he said even a couple of years back, it wasn't a subject matter that females just openly discussed, that they are going to go have one, that they had 2 before. It was just nothing of that sort. And if you heard a woman speak of it, it was something that, and I'm not saying that there's anything good about being ashamed about it. I don't think that, you know, depending on your circumstances, everything is a little bit different for everyone. But either they were very hurt by it, it left an indelible mark on their psyche, or it was spoken of in very hush-hush tones because they were not proud of the fact that this happened. But he said now it's like, it's poignant for show starters. It's like the storyline. And he remembers being in school last year when one or two of the girls in his grade level, talked about having one.
Oh yeah.
And stuff like that. So he just, we were talking about it, and I realized as well that on several of the letters we had, like with the guy when he said he and his wife had talked about having it because they had 3 children already. Do you remember when he said he sat in the living room and he wanted to pack up and leave?
I remember that.
There were quite a few letters that we had that was in reference to abortions and those kinds of things. So, someone wrote in and say, why as Bahamians, I don't remember Bahamians being so open to that being an option. When did we become so frivolous as to the thought of life? Even in relationships or out of relationships, we treat pregnancy and the responsibility just as we treat our relationships, something to be tossed away. And I was like, ooh. And
I don't think it's.
And she said that's her pet peeve.
It's just everywhere.
But it used to be, Mike, that Bahamians had a different standard, and I'm not saying
because we're a Christian nation.
Not because of that. Bahamians, I don't know, call it island life. I don't know. Bahamians just. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I don't think it was as prevalent as it is now, and I'm just wondering. Similarly, like when I read it, it just caused me to stop and think for a little bit. And I was wondering, is it because we care little about life? Is it because we care little about the relationships that we're getting in and whom it is that we become pregnant for, or whom it is we are making pregnant, so to speak? Has the responsibility of relationships and the weight in which we take those on, does that have something to do with it? And I think in many of the instances, yes, has to be the answer.
Well, I mean, anything that we do nowadays, I mean, and this was I personally feel from just watching people and even from personal experience, anything that we go into, whether it's a relationship, it's for personal gain. It's, do we think about the other person? Do we think about how this could affect persons we're dealing with in the future, our kids? No, it's everything that we do is for personal gain. We have this attitude that we'll deal with it when it comes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how I feel. That's how we are. We don't look at how we deal with money. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing that I'm on the board of a credit union, and and I get to see forehand, like in front of my face, the way we manage our money as Bahamians, and it's me myself. It's poor. I mean, we tend to deal with we don't plan long term. We just want to deal with what's in front of us now. As far as we want to take care of the bills, but we're not going to implement something so this bill doesn't come back. So you see the same person's coming back to take care of the light bill, phone bill, this loan bill, college fees. You see what I'm saying?
I also think it has a lot to do with, we always talk about mixed messages that we receive, whether it's the conditioned nature in which we have been brought up, or through schooling, or whether it's church or systematically, spiritually, whatever it is. We always talked about the conditioned mind that a lot of people have. And I think, quite honestly, there are messages that say be responsible, and it makes no sense to just live life if it's all about responsibility and it's all about sticking to the numbers, right? And what's the point of all of that if there's no joy, if there's no enjoyment? You die, you leave the money here, you leave the bills here. That's what people say. So go ahead and spend it. Enjoy yourself, right? That's what you hear. And then when you do that, you're kind of spanked for it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I understand that.
But
it's a double, right? I mean, and that in itself is a double-edged sword, because I mean,
what
I don't want to go off topic because we could get so deep into
it. But I think it ties relatively into what we're talking about as far as relationships are concerned. Right. People say, be careful. And when you're going into relationships, especially new ones, when getting to know people, when getting into new sexual relationships and all of that. And then there are others that say, What's the point of a relationship if it's not to become comfortable with someone where you don't have to be as guarded, where you can give of yourself and where you can enjoy yourself sexually because you know, or that's the thought that this is a monogamous relationship. So no holds barred, right? And then though we also have to remember that there are other responsibilities that come with the enjoyment thereof. And that's what I'm talking about. And so when we decide to have sex unprotected, there's the viable possibility of not just diseases, but a life that can be created and the responsibility that can follow thereafter.
But of course, we don't think about that.
No, because, and we don't think about it because we know that having an abortion is a possibility.
Yeah.
We know that
we know that
the
whatever
escape
happens,
hatch,
you can
it's
correct
built
it.
in. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's built in.
That's why people get married, because they know it's you can get
Divorce.
divorced. You know what I'm saying? It's no big thing. I mean,
So if we remove certain entities such as the possibility, and I know I'm going to tote such a cut behind for that, with women's right and choice and all of that, but that's not what we're discussing this morning.
No.
We're not discussing your right to your body to do whatever it is that you feel responsibility wise that you can take on or not, and the choice that you have as a woman. That is not what we're discussing this morning.
I think the issue, and I think with all aspects of your life, even relationships, when you let's say you get in a relationship and you have the attitude that, hey, I'm going to it, whatever happens.
Mm-hmm.
I think our problem is we do not want to take 100% responsibility for our part.
Agreed.
We are so easy to blame others for what goes wrong in our lives.
It's better.
I know I agree. And I think that's the fundamental issue right there, is that we refuse to take 100% responsibility.
I think that has a lot to do with it. And then I think with so many other things we're systematic on, and then other things okay, let's look back at money. A lot of people have to work damn hard for the money that they have, and they have to work long hours, and they got to put up with a lot of BS to make what they make. And then, like you said, seeing the things that you've seen, it's just like you kind of put it out the window and allow it to blow out. And then some people have an attitude of, well, I've worked hard for it. If I want to wipe my behind with it, I should be able to do that.
Right.
The thing about it is, though, when it is you and you alone and the ramifications just fall on you, I think that's all well, fine and said. Right? But I think when you're in a committed relationship, when you're in a marriage, when you have a family, even when you're dating someone and you're bringing someone into your world and you're asking them to see me for who I am and take me for who I am, flaws, faults, and all of the good things that come, it's now a sense of systematic responsibility that we don't have. And now somebody else's happiness, whether you like it or not, kind of now sits on you. I don't know if we get that. Do we understand that? When you choose to become a parent, whether you say it or not, that kid's happiness falls on you until they are responsible for their own happiness.
Right.
Now, if they're in the corner picking their nose, that's their little piece of happiness. They create that of their own.
Right.
But otherwise, creating happiness for that kid and a sense of stability, that's yours. From the moment that they were conceived and they sit in whomever belly, that's yours.
But I mean, and I get that, but do we know how to do that for our kids? I'm just using
I don't
that.
know.
Do we know how to do that? I mean,
we don't know how to do it for ourselves. So I don't know if you could do it for someone
when
else.
I say this, I mean, I'm not saying like to go out and buy the kids everything that they want.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And then, your light go off and stuff like that, When you talk about creating happiness, for being responsible for the happiness of your kids, it's just instilling certain things in them.
But for some children, happiness is the mere comfort of coming home and being able to flick the switch and it's on.
Right.
Being able to turn on the water and they can bathe. Being able to go in the fridge and it doesn't have to be the most expensive juice, but just to know that there's something in there to drink. That's bliss. They can turn on the television and it don't have to be satellite TV, HD. They can turn on the little box and they could watch a little cartoon. To them, that is happiness. They could go in the room and they actually got a mother or a father in there that they can actually go to. They're not being abused and taken advantage of. That's happiness. That's happiness. And giving that that's you fulfilling your responsibility.
Right.
And anything that happens outside of that, whether it's a game system, a pool or whatever, those are the extra icings on cake. But happiness can be the mere fundamentals of it. But responsibility comes with the gaining of happiness. And that's what I'm saying we don't get. When you choose to take someone into your life, even as a friend, I take you on as a friend, I have responsibility to you. Now, I can't make you happy in every which way, and I am going to fail you one way or the other.
Put down on paper.
Yeah, I can sign it in when the show finish.
Okay.
I can't make you happy in every which way, but as a friend, I'm going to try. And if I can, I will.
Yeah, but it's wrong for me to expect you to make me happy.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying. There's a certain responsibility, but there is such a thing as over-exceeding expectation. But then you can't remove the responsibility. Then what is to hold and mend and keep the friendship bonded?
Then, and what's your, here's the thing.
You see what
What's
I'm
your
saying?
definition of
It's
friendship,
weird.
though? Because, like I said, when we start, it's amazing that when we start on one topic, we just go into so many.
Because
other different
everything
things,
is
you know what I'm saying?
connected.
Because let's say you and I are friends. We
Mm-hmm.
have a friendship here. And I'm pretty sure, and I mean, I could be wrong. Let me say this. I think our definition of friendship pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
But and I think it's different for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you have expectations from me.
Mm-hmm.
I have expectations from you.
Mm-hmm.
Just something we talked about just before the show.
Mm-hmm.
But if I expect you to make me happy or to I could be there for you.
No.
You see what I'm
And
saying?
see, that's where we go wrong. I don't expect you to make me happy, but that's where most people think, right? I don't expect you to make me happy, but as a friend, the expectation is that you're a part of my overall joy. And it's not by anything to do. It's your mere existence in my life that gives that to me. And that's what I'm saying. It's just the fact that we're friends and you exist. And if I say, hey, what's up? And you answer back, you've added joy to my life.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And this is something that I'm not sure if I know how to deal with. Let's say a friend is going through something, right? They're going through a traumatic experience. Would you, as a friend, call them right away? Or would you call them like a couple days later once they've gone through?
Right away.
You would?
Yes. Right away.
Why?
That's a part of the responsibility
You
that
think-
we're talking
yeah.
about. Here's the thing. I cannot determine your reaction. And that's the way it is with relationships overall, intimate or otherwise. I can't determine your reaction, but what will be said, whether it's by you or by me, that I upheld my responsibility in our relationship because something happened to you. And I say that I love you and that we are in a relationship of sorts, whether it's friendship, whether it's mother to child, father to child, whether it's we're sleeping together, whether we're married or whatever, there's a certain responsibility tag that comes with that. So how can I say that I love you, I care for you, I'm invested in your life and your well-being? Something happens to you and I don't care to say call. That doesn't mean I don't care, but how will you interpret it? I don't hear from you. You have knowledge that something has happened. I'm just
wondering.
saying.
Right.
I know that something has happened, even if I am powerless to do anything about it, or you're in a situation where you don't want to be bothered, you still will be able to say, even though I didn't want to be bothered, I was in that space, I can damn well tell you that I heard from Mike. Even if I just send you a text, say, I don't know if you're ready, but when you're ready, I'm
Yeah,
here.
because I'm
Let
just,
me know if you
it's
need
just,
something.
to me, it's just amazing that, we talk about friendship and responsibilities and just the way people just think about it. And I use that example because, you hear people say, well, I think I'll be a better friend if I just
I'll just sit over here in the
sit
corner.
there and then I'll call him once, what I'm saying? When I think he's something, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
But like you said, people read friendship differently, but
Right.
it's still accountability. And the same goes for your relationships, right? I'll give you an example. I had an issue. I know I'm getting in trouble, but anyway, too bad. Last week, Sunday, something happened and I was in a tiff and I said it. And the response was, okay, until you get over your tooth, I'm going to be over here, far away from you. And I said, that's good. Go ahead and be a selective mate. If you feel like, that's the right thing to do that. but do not be offended when I choose to be selective as well. When you need me and I feel as if it's too much to take on and I select not to be there. You don't get to do that. You cannot say that I'm going to be there as long as it's just the way I want it to be or right up until this point. You
Everything's good.
do not get to do that. You cannot be a selective. Friendships isn't about being selective. And real friendships is about riding it out. Now, there are certain friends that you already know. They only can be there as long as the sun shine out, and you already know, even if it look like it's about to rain, don't look for them.
Time to depart.
You don't know.
Right.
That ain't that. You know that's only the friend to go in the club with, to invite to your little parties, to boost it up for a good time. You know that's that friend. You know that ain't. But are we wrong for calling them friends? To me, everything that has a name tag should have certain things that go along
But then
with it.
and here's the thing though, we use that term loosely as well.
That's my point. And the same thing goes for this is my boyfriend, this is my girlfriend. What does that mean? Do we understand what it means when we say that?
Oh, you need
Or
to
what
have people
goes
get
with that?
technical. Boy, friend. They
Yeah.
like separate.
Yes. In their mind, because
yeah.
you know why? In my mind, that's only a boy and he's my friend, so that means I could still do my little thing on the side. People justify things in their mind, and you got to be careful of. And that's why it's so important when you get into dating, relationships, and all of that, to really ask and to sit down and figure out if you guys see commitment and relationships on the same level. Because if you don't even bother getting into that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
One of my coworkers, this person I used to work with, she just recently got married.
Mm.
And it was I never thought she would have gotten married.
Mhm.
So it was really cool. We were talking yesterday and we just got into the topic of relationships and all that stuff, and she started talking about it because I asked how she met the guy and all that stuff. They were dating 3 months and now they're married,
Right.
you know. And she noted that when they were talking, she said, yeah, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, but she said with that title that means you're still able to you can still date. And I was like, well, why do you feel that way? She's like, because I don't want to put all my effort into someone and nothing happens. No, this doesn't go anywhere. And then I don't get the opportunity to meet someone else who could possibly be a potential husband. I was like, really?
That's right. That's new. I mean, it's not new actually, but see, that's what I'm talking about. So can you imagine you and someone get into a dating flex, and in your mind, okay, she's called me boyfriend, so that means I'm in there, like it's about to go to a different level. But in her mind, yeah, boyfriend, that means for now, I mean, you're getting most of my attention, but not all of it. You know what I mean? And that's why we don't really ask what it means. We hear the title and there's an assumption as to what that means. And the assumption is what makes an ass out of us. It absolutely does, because you hear boyfriend, girlfriend, I think there are certain expectations, but what your expectation is and what I am going to deliver because of what I feel it is totally different. And so you end up in very warped, one-sided relationships. And so you have to be very, very clear. Aaron and I talked about that yesterday as to what you see, what you hope to get, what I see and what I want to deliver. And it has to be on even keel. Now, it's up to you if you decide that you're going to allow the person to catch up to where you're at. And sometimes that never happens. And so you end up cheating yourself.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And it was quite an interesting conversation. And I'm like, I mean, I was surprised that she got married.
Right.
You know, but I was surprised at that response because I knew when I said you just talked to her, get to know her, I saw her to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was so surprised that she got married.
But it
because I know-
opens the door too, because a lot of men are of the impression that most women's end game is marriage. We're all racing to the aisle.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you know, like I said, she
yeah.
Like,
I'm just saying.
yeah, you know, I got you.
Yeah.
I just never thought that she would have gotten married, and I never thought that her end game was marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then just by that statement, I was like, "But you're married now."
Yeah.
I mean, like, so you went into a relationship knowing that there's a possibility that this person won't be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna put all in there
No.
because, you know, George, on the other hand, might be able to he might be the person for you. How did you end up married? You know what I'm
But
saying?
see, that's what I'm saying. These escape hatches, boy, they serious. You know, I talked to someone the other day, and her thing is the reason why she's never gotten divorced. She's been separated from her husband for 6.5 years, and she's never gone ahead and gotten divorced. Not because, you know, over the years the money hadn't been there or all these other things, but in her mind, that's always something that she can use as an escape pod when the relationships that she get into, she doesn't want to get to that point of seriousness. Listen, we're together and all of that, but know that I'm still technically married, so I can't give you that level of commitment that you're looking for.
Oh, that's a serious cop out right there.
That's what I'm saying, but there are so many people walking around with it. I would give you what you want. I would give you that next level of, I would elevate, but
Yeah.
I've still got this thing here. Still got this thing going on. So, yeah. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to pregnancy, when it comes to all of those things. These things that we create so that we don't have to be responsible, so we don't have to meet expectation. It's left us in a poor state when it comes to our relationships with people overall, but definitely in our intimate relationships we lack.
Let me ask you a question. Just because we're good friends.
Here it comes. When people say, I feel like I could ask you this because
Yeah.
people like that. It's about to be a ground shaker.
No, because I find this to be a lot of, you know, issues in relationships as well. When you say you had that issue over the weekend,
Mhm.
and the person said, you know, I'll take a step back until you deal with your
Yeah.
attitude, and then you in turn says, well, what if I do that to you?
Mhm.
Do you think you should have said that?
The reason I said it was this. I think a lot of times for people to truly understand the ramifications of their actions or what it really does or how it makes you feel, the only way that people get that is by they themselves being put in the same position. And so that's why I said, okay, if I decided to deal with you in the same way that you deal
Okay.
with me,
It's just
yeah, it wasn't saying tit for tat, but my thing was, and that's how a lot of people would see it. Okay, so you're playing tit for tat, but
Right.
that wasn't it. My goal was, if I treated you the same way that you treated me, would it be okay with you?
okay. Well, that's
If you
understandable.
had attitude and I said, you know what, till you cool down and till you chill out, I ain't into that, and I ain't gonna be near you. You don't get to do that because human beings are multifaceted and different things affect them. So if you have a bad day and you're in an itchy mood, I just ain't gonna deal with you. So that means that I'm only selecting to be around you when you bring me laughs and when you bring me joy and happiness. That's crazy.
No, and that's how we
crazy.
like it though.
But exactly.
That's
But
like a-
and it's like, but then see, I'm that chick you don't want to do that to, because in my mind, I take it, you know me, I take thought. When most people stop at the hill, I done gone over the mountain range. My thought process goes far. So my thing is, if you can't take some attitude, if I were to fall ill today, you'd run then. You gone then. You know what I'm saying? If all of my hair fell out and all my looks went away, you're gone then. If you can't deal with some attitude, if I'm having a bad day or things are going bad for me, if you can't deal with that, how, pray tell, will you deal with the rest of what life has to offer? That's where my mind
But here's the
goes.
thing: do you take responsibility for your attitude?
I said so. I said
saying,
so.
I mean,
I said
because-
I'm giving you attitude. Most people say I said I am giving you attitude, and I
So-
feel like I was right in my attitude, and here's why. And then it's up to you
But
as my mate.
when you say attitude, attitude to push them away, attitude.
No, I was upset
just-
about something, and I voiced it, and
Okay.
and that was translated into attitude. No,
Okay,
that's me
okay.
saying how I feel.
Okay.
That's me saying how I feel.
Okay.
and
No,
I
that's
should have
fine.
the right to
Because
say
you know,
that.
I just want to clarify.
Yeah,
what you
no.
meant by attitude.
No, like I said, we we interpret things very differently, and a lot of times with men and women, if men say how they feel, women take it as something very personal. Like men aren't supposed to say how they feel, or that they feel disrespected or emasculated by the things that you do. But that's how they feel.
Yeah.
Whether that was your intention or not, this is how what you did resulted in me feeling. He has a right to feel that
Yeah,
way. Who are
yeah.
you to say, I didn't mean it like that, so you shouldn't feel like that? But that's how I took it. That's how I feel. Then let's sit down and let's understand why I feel like that. And you say to me, well, that's not how I meant it. This is how I meant. That's how you clarify it. But you do not tell somebody that they don't have the right to feel how they feel. You're secondly now diminishing me, because now you're telling me I shouldn't even feel the way I feel. I don't have the right.
Yeah.
So now you're knocking me down yet another one. That nobody wants to feel that way.
Yeah.
And even if you're justified in how you feel, it still is how you feel. You should have a right, especially to the person you laying up with, living with.
No, I totally agree.
You should be the person I should be able to say.
Because I mean, I had a sudden situation where I basically stated how I felt about something,
Mhm.
and I was told I was freaking out.
Yeah. That's a state. Yeah.
You
That's
know?
they like
Why,
that
why are
one.
you freaking out?
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, if that's how you see it, and I just laughed and I left it there.
Right.
That's the way you see it.
And it's annoying.
That's the way you see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I just left it at that.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm telling you how I feel, I don't agree with something.
And so
I
therefore
let
it
you
makes
know
it
I
seem
don't
like-
agree. Yeah. Why are you freaking out?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? So I
and
mean,
that leads you to two things. Either number one, I'm now not going to voice to you how I feel anymore because it's freaking out or it's wilding out or it's snagging or whatever. So don't worry about how I feel no more. And that you put that in, and then it's resentment, and then it's a lot of other things that become caged. And that's what people don't understand.
Right.
When they knock you down for how you feel, either you overreact or you just don't react. And then either way, it's going to cause problems, and it's going to cause your relationship to break down in
Yeah.
the communication.
I did a course called Crucial Conversation. I
Mhm.
don't know if you've heard of that. And it was such an eye-opening course. And I think that needs to be like offered in schools and colleges and stuff like that, because people just and it touches into how do you conversate in, you know, meetings with colleagues, relationships with family, stuff like that. And,
Overall.
and it talks about emotions and how do you balance emotions with intellect and all that stuff. And I think that's one of the, as far as communication is concerned,
Mhm.
there's no balance. You know what I'm saying? There's no balance because, and the course states how when somebody says something to us, we automatically go into defense mode. And it was such an eye-opening course. And I think that's a course that really needs to be taught.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
If you're just tuning in, this is Love Jones on a Global 99.5 FM. Pet Peeve Day, and we've been talking about so many things. Before I discuss that, I don't even know if to get into that letter now, but I think as people in relationships, we've definitely lost the art of communication, and that's why we can't make it.
No,
That's why we're not making it.
because we communicate from hurt. We communicate from anger. you
Very
know, so-
selfish standpoints.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that's wrong, but there has to be a balance. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know, even the course talks about tone of voice and all that stuff. That's really important in communication, body language, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, I really feel that course is something that's definitely necessary. I think they should put that into marriage counseling.
I think it's one of the biggest
You know what I'm
things. I'm not saying hurdles won't come in
Right.
any relationship, and especially marriage. But I think your ability to sit down and be able to talk about things as they happen, no matter how hurtful, no matter how angry you have gotten or whatever, I think if you can master communication, and I'm not saying that it's not going to be frustrating at times, but if you can master how to not just speak, but to listen, and not just listen, but understand someone's point of view, whether you agree with it. And I think that's married people as well as people in relationships biggest problem. You feel as if you only get to a place of okay if you agree with them. Absolutely not. There's no one on earth that you will agree with all of the time.
Right.
You don't even agree with yourself all the time. You have two conversations in your mind. Yeah, but then I think you don't agree with yourself. So it's no one on earth that you're going to agree with 100% of the time. So if you can get to a place where I understand how you feel, I understand where you're coming from. I don't agree with it, and I probably won't, but I get where you're coming from, and I understand why you feel the way you feel. That, and being able to say that to someone else, that will do a world of good rather than saying you were right. I don't get it, but I understand how you feel, and I accept that.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, and even with we're talking about in relationships when just saying what you're saying just now, where the person is like, I understand where you're coming from, and like I said, I don't agree with it.
Mhm.
You know, it's so amazing to me that we look for validation, looks for so much validation from others. You know, and tell me if I'm wrong. You know, you're in a relationship. You know, you discuss your relationship with something that's going on with a friend or so, and the friend makes you feel or tell you you're right.
Mhm.
So you going back to your mate because that person told you
Yeah,
you're right.
and now you're on fire now
You're on
because you
fire
got
'cause
someone
you-
backing you, right?
What? and that's what happens. You know what I mean? That's what happens. You know, and it's like I said, it's so
Communication is key.
yeah.
And when we don't do, I understand that you need cooling off periods sometimes, but when you never discuss it, and a lot of us are guilty of that, it happened. I don't want to reawaken that anger or that frustration, so I just let it be. And that means you just kind of sweep it under the rug. You put the rug down and you move on, but you've never dealt with that. So that's still an existing issue in your relationship. And it's another time when a lost opportunity for communication, and they just happen so often. And before you know it, there's such a gap between you and your mate. You have no idea now how to approach them about certain things because you haven't used all of those little experiences as opportunities and experience to learn how to communicate with each other.
Right.
And that changes over time. When you guys were 21, 25, you communicated in a different way. But as the responsibilities of life come at you, as you change and get older, as experiences happen, as deaths happen in your life circle, and the way that you see things and experience things change, as does your communications on those things.
Definitely.
And when you don't evolve with your mate in that style of communication, breakdowns will happen that way as well.
Yeah.
You change. Everyone changes.
No,
The way that you
definitely,
feel and
you
think
know,
about things
And
change.
to go even further, you know, like you said, as experiences with that mate happens,
Mhm.
you
The
know,
way you see them changes.
Yeah.
And therefore the way that you feel comfortable communicating,
Right.
that changes.
Right.
And so you have to relearn over and over again the proper style of communication that's going to work well for you.
Yeah.
But if it's gone, well, you're going to be in trouble. And
You
it
think
leads you
is it
into
possible-
seeking
I think you
communications
can get
elsewhere.
it back though.
You can, but
You know,
it
it's
takes
just
a lot of
it's- yeah,
practice.
and it's not going to happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? And it takes, you know, it takes courage, boy. It takes a lot of courage because when I say it takes courage, when you're in a certain place with somebody and you don't feel you can talk to them about something, you have to. It takes courage to even.
Because you don't want to be rejected. You don't want to keep getting put back in that space of upsetness. And so to keep going at it again and again,
Yeah.
even though you feel like you're going at a brick wall, that's challenging.
Yeah.
And it takes gumption to do it again
Yeah.
and again and again and
And
again.
it's based on past experiences. So
And
when I
you're
say
afraid that the more you get knocked down, that you lose interest. And sometimes that's why people stop trying, not because they don't care. I feel like if you knock me down maybe one more time, I'm going to be done with this. And I'm afraid to be done with this. So I'll just some people just leave people alone. But that's no better either, eh?
no,
It's a cycle. It ain't
I know,
easy.
I know.
It definitely isn't easy.
my next life I coming back as a tree.
You got problems with them leaves and
That's
birds.
fine, that's fine.
You still got some problems. But listen, pet peeves, right? One lady said, and it's interesting because here goes the letter that came in. And no matter how many times you hear about these different things, you're still left with your mouth agape that people are still being as irresponsible as they are. And a meme was posted in our group the other day where the mind was taking the hand of the heart and say, come, me and you got to have a talk because we ain't on the same level and you getting me in trouble, right? The mind is like the heart just keeps taking over and getting me in problems. So the lady says this. She says that she's been married for about 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
She and her husband have had great years. They've had ups and downs, and they basically only had each other to do attention on and this and that and the next. They don't have any children within their marriage. He has 2 children prior to them being married. She says recently she found out about 5 years ago that there was infidelity within the marriage. She doesn't know why, but he decided to divulge that. And when we talked about the evolution of the way you see your mate according to experience and things like that change. So in her mind, who he was is no longer who he was. This brought question to all kinds of other things within their marriage. And yet she said 10 years was a lot to just throw away. She decided to stay within their marriage, but they didn't really hash that out, talk about it, because every time the conversation came up, there was a lot of really nasty residual feelings over the instance of infidelity. So she decides to make herself feel better. She'll go ahead and she'll go ahead and see someone as well, and that'll even off the playing field. Problem is, she's been sleeping with another married man for a year plus and is now 42 years old and pregnant for the first time, and not knowing whether it is her husband's child or the man that she has been sleeping with,
This was on General Hospital?
which is another woman's husband.
This is on General Hospital?
I can look
Oh.
because I don't know. I mean,
This is like a bullet.
you say never say never. I ain't trying to find out the man named Ridge.
That's
Ridge
what it
Forster.
sound like, boy.
But people are doing it, Mike. If there's nothing that I've learned, and a lot of times I'll tell you, I used to wonder if some of these things were true. But I know people have lived these lives. I mean, some of the things that have happened, it's happened to me before, or people that I know. So I know that the possibilities of people getting into these situations are very real. You wonder how people are still getting into them with all of the knowledge that we have before us, all of the capabilities to protect yourself that's there. People are still doing the things that they do. But what we forget is human beings are not mechanical. We do things off the cuff. We do things at whim. We do things out of spite, out of malice. We do things in the name of love. It's not because of love, but we put it in the name of love. We say it's because of love why we do the things that we do.
That's funny.
The other thing, except again, coming back to taking responsibility. But now she's saying that she has taken the opportunity twice before in her youth. She had not kept pregnancies, and this is her last opportunity to be a mother. But now look at the circumstances in which it has come to be. So what does one do?
I don't know.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest.
Right?
Does she come clean to her husband with the expectation that I stayed with you. I stayed with you when you admitted to me what was done, and the fact that there is a child shouldn't make a difference because you could have yielded one as well. You were just fortunate enough.
No.
How come?
me
Man,
that.
listen. Thank you for calling, Love Jones. Good morning. What you mean no?
No, but
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Everything good, man. Mike, you say you don't know it.
I don't know.
Man, look here. See, it's like people keep on this crutch of time and kids.
Yep.
And I mean, you know, if you holding on something for 5 years, like I was talking to a lady this morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she said that there's been incidences in her marriage where her husband has done certain things that really and truly would be worthy of divorce, right?
Right.
But she said, you know, I'm just going to stick this out. But she said, you know, I always keep that in the back of my mind and just wondering when he's going to do it again. And I said, I was like, you know, why? Because I think we were talking more or less along the lines of people once they separate from their once partners,
Mm-hmm.
how certain people in that who were in that relationship, how they get so bitter, you know. And she was saying, she was like, boy, I know if it was to come to a point where me and my husband would have got a divorce, you know, he's going to be the very bitter one.
Right.
And, you know, so I said, you know, once you cross that line of mistrust, it never goes back to the same thing. And so we might try to patch it over, but it's never the same. That level of trust is never the same. So it's like, why even try to hold on? And I mean, okay, you're pregnant for possibly either one of the guys, right? So you know, why are you holding, you've been, it's like this whole tit for tat thing is a bunch of foolishness. You know, because he did it, now I'm gonna go do it, and so that makes it even. But then now you trying to be even, but then you're continuing now to mess up your mental psyche, because now here it is, you have this on your conscience, on your conscience, you know, as well as the fact that, okay, my husband did this, and now I went and did this to him, and what will happen if I go and tell him this now, and where are we gonna be? You know, so it's like, why keep the cycle going? Just walk away, Dread. Like let it go.
And the cycle never ends, to be honest.
It hurts, but what are you holding on to? You know what I'm saying? And really and truly, when you think about it, when you pull back the layers of everything, and you think about, okay, how's the conversation between us two? We ain't really got that there. Okay. What do we have in common? Well, you know what? We ain't really got nothing in common now, you know. Okay, so how's the sex? Yeah, boy, the sex is be off the chain. So what you holding on to? You holding on to sex. Right. Every single person on this planet is capable of sex.
Good
there
sex
are
too.
Billions of people in this world. Yeah. There are billions of men that you could possibly meet who will give you sex. Might be better. The ones who don't give you no good sex, you go find the next one.
Right.
Same thing with men looking for women. There are billions of women on this planet.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are you just holding on to one? Why are you damaging your mental capacity because of one stupid human being? You know what I'm saying? And it sounds harsh, but I mean, you know, we got to grow up on these things, because it's like, okay, it's either you're going to forgive, forget, and move on, or and the thing about it is, back to the whole Christian principles and basics. You know, we talk about forgiveness. If you believe in this Christian principle, and you believe in God, you know, God, clearly the Bible says that, you know, God, he forgives and casts it into the lake of forgetfulness. So if you're forgiving somebody, forgive and forget.
Yeah, but Pat, what I realize is this, and let's be real about it. If we can have a real conversation, let's do it. Married couples will forgive anybody. The person that write off their car, that cut them during surgery and miss and take piece of their liver, the person that knocked their cat and dog down, they will forgive anybody except the person that they've invested 10, 15 years in. They'll forgive anybody else for any other atrocity that they've experienced. Yeah. Anybody else. They brought it and thief 15 grand from them. They'll forgive anybody else except that husband or that wife that ain't carrying the garbage. They calling you in for ain't carrying the garbage.
But I don't know if you ever saw this video online where this guy, it's like he gets up in the morning and he throws an attitude with his wife and his kids and everything like that, and it's like there's no conversation. But the minute he steps out into the world, his whole demeanor changes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he's nice to everybody. He holds the doors. He holds open doors for everybody. You know, he compliments. He does this. He does that. He does the next. But the minute he gets back home, it's a total change.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a meme that I just loaded up on my phone this morning, I think. But I didn't get to post it yet. But it talked about how, you know, you need to give. Oh, geez. Let me see if I can find it. But I can have to send it to you. But it talks about how, you know, you don't give so much to the world that you don't have enough to give back to your own partner.
True. But a lot of the times the problem is you're not, because I'll be honest, I heard that before a couple years back. The same person that the world knows is not the person that I know anymore. And and I had to think about that. And in a couple of the ways it was true, but the thing about that is it was because I was not happy.
Right.
And the problem, I have to take onus in that because I wasn't ready to admit that openly. But I realized that, you know, when you get in that space with someone that you realize that a lot of the things that you had in common is now diminished. You know what I mean? The only thing you talk about now is the children and school and how to pay the bills. There aren't any, there's no conversation that you used to have back in the day. You know what I mean? There's no shared passion or enjoyment.
Because we're not deliberate about it.
Well, that's true too.
And the thing and the sad reality is, and I don't know if I should call it a sad reality, but the reality of it is in relationships, we have to be deliberate.
Yeah.
You have to, and I don't want this to sound bad, but really and truly, you certain thing. Because, okay, yes, when you met, there was that physical attraction, that chemistry and everything like that.
Mhm.
But as life happens, you know, it
Changes.
happens.
Yeah.
And so there are certain things that kind of the shine, the glitter, the glimmer of things has kind of it's become dull now. And so now, I mean, you know, okay, I had a trumpet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I bought it, it was shiny. I mean, I get my little microfiber cloth out and I shine that and I polish that up and everything like that, right?
Like some new
But
oaks.
But as it got older, it started to get these little spots on it and everything like that.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, I wanted my trumpet to be shiny all the time.
Mm-mm.
So I had to go and I had to buy some Brasso.
Mm-hmm.
And with Brasso, you have to get almost like a kind of like a steel wool type cloth.
Yeah.
It's not actual steel, but it's like a steel wool type cloth, right?
Mhm.
And you have to take that Brasso and you have to put that on that trumpet and you have to rub that in and you have to work that in and you have to force those spots out if you want to get that shine back.
Right.
So if you want your relationship to be pretty, you have to force certain things. You have to force certain things. And it's like when you find yourself falling, like if you find yourself having an argument with your spouse or your partner or something like that, yeah, you at the end of that argument is like you don't want nothing to say to him or her. But you still have to force it. You know what? I still love this. You know, babe, yeah, I love you.
I agree, right? But there's a danger in that. There's a danger in always wanting the relationship to be shiny and pretty because I don't think that's realistic. To me, I would prefer to have a relationship that has a few spots and dents in it because we've earned that. That's
Right.
that's like our scars that we've gained together. And like I said, a house can be pretty and it looks good, but the foundation is crap. Right? So I would rather my foundation be solid and you know the superficial stuff on the outside doesn't look as shiny and brand new. I think the problem with a lot of people is they're so busy focusing on making it shiny that they lose all of the other things that, like, I agree with you about putting the work in, but their work is primarily about making sure that the facade is kept.
Right.
And that's the problem. We have to stop wanting the honeymoon stage. A lot of people will tell you, actually, the honeymoon stage, despite what people tell you, is the hardest part of your relationship.
Yeah, it is.
Because you flicking getting to know someone, they getting to know all your little gritty ways and things like that. That ain't necessarily whatever they want to tell you. That ain't the happiest part, but that's what people tell you it's supposed to be. And so when you get in it, and you're like, wait, hey. People tell me honeymoon's supposed to be sex non-stop, breakfast and bed, feeding each other berries and things. This ain't what I sign up for.
Ain't like that.
It ain't. No, it ain't like that.
Come on.
But check it out. The thing about it is now, Candy. But you know, when you look at first and second marriages, right?
Yeah, they different.
When you in your first relationship or your first marriage, especially if you've been in a first marriage for so long, it's like, yeah, you have that honeymoon stage in your first marriage, right?
Right.
But it's like once you done get cut, stabbed, shook, everything like that, it's like now you start to be like, man, hold up. Now you get your divorce and everything like that. You pull out and when you start looking for that other person,
yeah,
the honeymoon stage is kind of short, very short.
Yeah, but
because it's like you cut to the chase quick and say, hey, listen, this is where I am at. This is what I have experienced. This is what I'm going through. This is where if you into this and this is what you want and you want us to be together, this is who I am. I'm going to drop all the layers and I'm going to show you this is me. This is what I'm giving you. I ain't coming to you with no fun or nothing like that. This is me. You see what I'm saying? And so the honeymoon phase, yes, that is the hardest part because you have to put up this front and be like, yeah, you're whining and you're dining and all that stuff like that. And then when the realness come around, then it's be like, mother sick, this is what I signed up for.
Exactly.
You know?
But to me, that's the defining part of a relationship. I think if someone can hang with you through the roughest and toughest, that's a keeper. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm at a point in my life, I don't know about anybody else, but I think all of us around this particular age, we're at a point whereby if you can't be there for the rugged, I need you to push, and you better
Yeah.
push now, because I got rugged.
Right.
Yeah, this ain't no slip slide road. If you looking for easy breezy, I ain't that chick for you. I can tell you that. You understand
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
I
saying?
think the
I
thing
ain't
about
that chick for you. You need to push now, right now, before you scuff your boots, king. Before you scuff your J's. Cheap, you push now. Let me warn you now. Cheap, you push out now, because I can tell you can hit some terrain
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you can get scuff. I ain't asking you if you can get scuff. I telling you. So if
Oh,
you can't
so
handle
what
that,
thing
cheap, you
coming
push
on?
out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
What
I
you
think
saying,
if we
Mike?
just real about that, I think we'll be better. But just tell people this can get bumpy. So if you can't handle bump, go over there on the kiddie ride and stay over there where it's comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stay in the shallow.
Yeah, please and thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, man,
anyways,
appreciate it. And do
All right,
send
no
the
problem.
meme.
yeah, I will.
Alrighty.
All right,
All
pal,
right.
later.
Well, we're running out of time, but this is what it is, right? This realness, and people talk, but well, I want real. I want these.
Well, you know, we always say, you know,
Yeah.
what is real?
Nobody around here real no more, but y'all need to come real. What are you talking about? And then when real come, bongi and heel, gone. When dudes can't wine you and dine you no more, when they can't carry out every place where you want to go, all of a sudden you're ready to ditch them for the next one. You understand what I'm saying? When women now are in a situation where when you used to go out all the time and she had on the this and she had on the that, now real life you roll up on her and things are rough and nails ain't done, feet ain't done, things that yeah, I know you have a feet fetish thing. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's all. The feet ain't done.
The feet ain't done.
And the budget.
Things rough.
Yeah,
things
no
rough.
No way.
Things
Don't
rough.
buy the milk today, boy, but go get them
Things
feet
rough.
done.
But I'm gonna leave with that. I guess the nugget for the day or the pet peeve that's selective to you. We always ask around the round table, what's your pet peeve? And my pet peeve is people that are selective in their friendships, selective in their relationships, selective in their partnerships, and selective in the times that they would want to be there and not be there. If you are going to be selective, then I don't want you or need you. I don't, because I don't want to be that kind of person in your life where when I select, when it's going to be okay to be there for you. Even if I'm going through, I always said that by going through, it will make me feel better to know I can help you go through, or I listen to what your stuff is. This is not the time or the season to be in any kind of relationship where someone is only there for the sunshiny days, because these are the most grim that we've seen in a long time. It just got very real. People are facing financial issues. People are facing crisis in their lives where they're trying to chase dreams. They're trying to chase businesses. They're trying to find who they are. And if you're only there for those select portions in their life when things are good, then why? Why bother? Humans are multifaceted, multi-emotional. There's so much going on with one individual.
Multi-emotional. Like that.
Yeah, that too. Because love you now,
No,
hate you
because
later.
that's true. Multi-emotional.
Everything is multi.
You know, and they're going through. It's amazing. They go through so much different emotions.
10 emotions
at
in
the
a couple
same
seconds.
time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's. Yeah.
So if you're someone that cannot handle stress or emotion, then know that that's not someone that you want to be with. And no one can kill you for that. No one can fault you for it. It's being honest with yourself as well as someone else. And like Pat said, honeymoon period lasts a long, yeah, wine you, dine you, I like you and all that. But look here, let me strip down the layers for you. And this is what it is. You have to be honest with it now that you've given it. What you gonna do with it?
Trying to push that person away.
But if they leave, then they telling you off top, but I can't handle what you dishing.
But does people really go into relationships expecting it's going to be all hunky dory? Come on.
But
now.
some people is be serious with that, Mike. Some people is be so serious with
and
that.
here's the thing. I've learned that, you know, you can't judge a book by its cover. You look at people and think their life is all hunky dory. Like everybody going through battles. Everybody's going through challenges.
Absolutely.
I don't care from President Donald Trump to Prime Minister, Minister. Everybody has some issue,
Challenges
some
in their
personal
life.
issue
Agreed.
that they're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? You know, we tend to look at people because they dress well and feel that, or they drive a certain car, they live in a certain house, feel like they got it all. No, boy, they going through. What's the word? They going through
For some
doubts.
people,
They have
yeah,
doubts. They
everything.
have doubts about themselves. They have doubts about their life. They have doubts about everything. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that's my pet peeve. Is when is people. I hate when people look at me and think that
All is
I have it
well.
all together,
Yeah.
which I can tell you I don't. I
Mhm.
mean, you know, I go through challenges every single day, personal, financial.
Let's do.
You know,
I know
my
some
work
of the
life.
most well put together people.
You see what I'm saying? So I mean, I yeah.
So no assumptions.
Yeah, yeah.
No assumptions. I agree. When you assume, you make an ass out of
Yeah.
yourself as well as sometimes everyone else. But that does it for us. Today is Pet Peeve Day. And it's been interesting. We started at one place and
Yeah. Yeah.
that always seems to happen. But as always, the whole point here is thought-provoking conversation. And if that's something that has come out of today, then it's been successful. So think about the art of communication. Think about always wanting things to be shiny and brand new. And think about your own shortcomings and your own flaws and how you want people to accept those things but are unwilling to accept them in other people. You cannot be what you are and expect much, much more, much, much less from everyone else. You have to put yourself on an even keel. Well, that's going to do it for us. Of course, you can watch the video a little bit later on Global 995's page, as well as our own on Love Jones Crew. Join it. Or you can be a chatter, 431-8497. Hit me up. Let me know what's going on. Tomorrow is Freak Friday. And boy, is it a doozy. We got some stuff we'll get into tomorrow. But until then, keep it right. We've got it. Lots more great music is on the way. We are home of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Best mix of R&B music. We're 99.5. Thanks to the Solid for making sure production has gone well. Magic Mike, a pleasure as always. I'm Candy and we're out of here. But we'll be back at 11 o'clock tomorrow. Same time, same place.
You've been listening to Love Jones.